Hello dear viewer and welcome to a mostly peaceful Skyrim build, the Lady of Peace, once a bandit and a drunkard, a deeply unhappy captive, raised and abused by a group of bandits, now on her way to recovery and redemption, thanks to Lady Mara. Well, that was a little bit more depressing than intended, but the depressing bit is just in the backstory. The playthrough is all about spreading peace and love and about family.
Never should have messed with a man's family.
So Christmas isn't entirely over yet here on this channel. Well, okay, she is also capable of spreading some extremely efficient violence if the situation calls for it, especially against the undead. They should have stayed dead. With this build, we get a neat little combo of an illusion/restoration mage focusing on calm spells and courage spells, capable of boosting her followers to an absolutely insane degree. That's because we use spell mods. We put some spells, like Orc's Strength, that enhance power attacks, on our followers. We get an extra summonable follower from the Spirit Guardian spell, of course. Of course! We use the Battle Fury spell to make those enhanced power attacks faster. Shout. Battle Fury shout, you said fuck. We double the amount of allies in the field of battle with a Vokrii perk, and then we can use the aura spells from Triumvirate to buff all those allies even further as we concentrate. But it is Skyrim, even though the Lady of Peace would like to avoid violence, which she can achieve via pacify spells, but also through the exile spells, simply making enemies disappear for a while. So even though she cares about sparing people, this is freaking Skyrim, and at times we will have no other choice but to exterminate, in which case she can call on her extremely rough childhood experience to deliver a series of fast and brutal blows of her quarterstaff, which carries the most balanced vanilla enchantment of paralysis. Also, as a restoration expert, she can blast everything with some really cheap master level sun damage spells. All that can be done while hidden or in open combat because quiet casting. So we have some very efficient combat, some overwhelming leadership skills, and some subterfuge. It all works pretty well together, except you need to figure out how to stop your followers from messing up your pacifism and slaughtering all enemies before you can even say hi. You can do it by the Cloak Other spell, making followers invisible, or with a follower mod like AFT, stopping them from attacking anyone before you attack first. But also, of course, by telling them to wait for a bit as you explore forward and calm or exile your potential opponents. Let's look at the mods then. We need Wintersun to worship Mara. Her blessing will reduce the cost of restoration spells on top of a few other cost reductions, and her devotee ability will make our followers impossible to defeat. With the insane 20 points per second health regen, we combine that with Troll's Blood health regen, Inspire perk health regen, and Area Restore health regen, a lot of regeneration, yes. Your allies around you just won't ever feel pain. We can buff those allies much more with the remarkable Field Medic mod, which allows you to apply potions to your allies, including some insane multi-effect potions you craft yourself, which is sadly impossible in the vanilla game. And then we have all the cool spell mods for the cool kids, so Apocalypse, Odin, and Triumvirate. And yes, Apocalypse is used mainly for Okato's recital. I have used so many spells with this character, I thought automating at least some of them was a good idea. For the sake of successful pacifism, I used Knockout and Surrender to silently knock some enemies unconscious, avoiding unnecessary bloodshed if possible. For the situations where violence was the only way, or the preferred way in case of the undead, I used a Dawnguard quarterstaff from Heavy Armory. Any quarterstaff mod will do. From what I can tell, they are always implemented as lightweight, high speed but low damage per hit warhammers. I would also recommend thinking about some non-combat activities you might enjoy for a playthrough like this. My usual solution for a relaxing and satisfying peaceful playthrough is Tundra Defense plus Woodcutter Revised. Tundra Defense allows you to build a little village, let's say around your Heartfire house, and Woodcutter allows you to craft many things, including some furniture and decor, meaning you can spend some time customizing your house to perfection. And we need Summermyst enchantments, as per usual. I mean, I'm not insane, why would I stop myself from using Summermyst? Obviously, with Creation Club or with the Anniversary Edition, the Honest Farm farmer's life at the Golden Hills plantation is also a way to go. Oh, and she wears Alchemist's vestments from Alchemist's Vestments mod. It's nice. It's a nice mod. Now, figuring out the attributes ratio for this character gave me an aneurysm, but I'm fine now, so let's go with something like 3 points of magicka per 2 of health per 1 of stamina. The race is an Imperial, as the voice of the Emperor enables some pacifism from day one. A Breton would allow us to max out on magic resistance, so it's a good idea too, but later in the game you will hardly ever be targeted by spells because all spellcasters, along with all other enemies, will be pacified, exiled to oblivion, or knocked out willy-nilly without you being detected. The Standing Stone is the Lord for the lack of the better ideas. The Atronach may be considered, but with the amount of spells we want to cast, hurting our own magicka regeneration may bite us at times. The Lord seems better for this particular playstyle, and the chosen religion is of course the worship of Mara. This is the most wholesome and motherly of the Tamrielic divines, and she makes you make all your friends undefeated. And for the skills, we perk quite a few, so many in fact, some of them won't even reach 100 before level 50, but that's fine. Let's separate them into main and secondary groups and decide the secondary skills don't need to be maxed out to work well for the build. For the main skills we have Restoration, Alteration, Illusion, Sneak and Two-Handed. These buggers need to be high and perky. In Restoration we take all of a bucket load of perks, the left hand branch up to Sun's Judgment, both ranks, so that we can deal some real damage with healing spells and damage all kinds of enemies with sun spells like Vampire's Bane, but also with the very useful ritual spell of Purifying Dawn, which can reach 930 damage per explosion and isn't even that expensive to cast for the complete build. It's basically your ulti for all the enemies when your pacifism won't do anymore. Both ranks of Inspire were taken to grant our friends and our hubby some health regeneration, and 2 ranks of Inner Light with your rather ample magicka total can solve most of your remaining problems with spell costs. I also took Blessed and Intervention, which is mostly useless for the playstyle, but I wanted her to be extra blessed and protected by her deity. If it says so on my character sheet, no DM can tell me otherwise. D&D is traumatizing. In Alteration we inevitably take all the ranks of Mage Armor and Magic Resistance, especially that with a character like this we kind of have to do the matchmaking quest and get even more resistance from the Agent of Mara ability. You sort of have to do this.
We kinda have to do this.
Sorcerer's Robes and Tokatos Preparation are both no-brainers. What an easy stress-free way of making everything more efficient. Free automated armor spells and 25% more efficiency with all our spells that we can stack with potions and amplify restoration or amplify illusion. Lovely stuff. Then we have 1 rank of Alter Self to increase magicka, and again 2 character concept perks that aren't really necessary for someone hiding behind their warrior friends and perfectly capable of remaining hidden, but they just fit, they just work. Arcane Guidance, because the girl is very cautious and likes to know the number of enemies ahead of time, and Hedhod's Escape as another kind of divine intervention almost that paralyzes enemies about to deal a fatal blow to her. Here's the list of Illusion perks, which guarantees rather smooth illusionist play with all kinds of enemies affected and each kind of mind affecting spells getting an additional effect. For roleplay reasons we care the most about Calm and Courage spells. Of course, Calm spells will have a chance to linger even after the affected targets are attacked, which frankly makes remaining hidden laughably easy because enemies that are not hostile aren't actively looking for you. Splendor will enhance all your Courage type spells, and remember, Courage, Rally and Call to Arms spells all stack with each other, as well as being made stronger by Fortify Illusion potions, which means you can build up about 500 extra points to all 3 attributes for your followers, and that's not even including the potions you can apply to them with the Field Medic mechanics. Quiet casting is going to be crucial. It allows you to pacify whole groups without a risk or without much effort. It allows you to cast ritual spells like the aforementioned Purifying Dawn quite reliably, and with the attention of your enemies being set on your friends and your husband at all times, it should be even easier to go back into hiding even if you messed up a little and are discovered. Which is why I don't even need that many perks in Sneak to use the skill efficiently. Mastery and both ranks of silent movement should suffice. As mentioned, this skill serves the purpose of casting many useful and dangerous spells without inviting attention, allowing for some impressive crowd control, leadership, and sometimes heaps of sun damage. Meanwhile, in two-handed to make our quarterstaff useful, we take both ranks of crushing blows to ignore some enemy armor, and we take the power attack perks on the right up to and including War Master. We basically use the most stamina-friendly two-handed weapon type, quarterstaff, so combining that with brutal fighter means we need less stamina than with any other weapon choice, meaning we can get a bit more magicka, which is badly needed. With the paralysis enchantment on the quarterstaff and another 25% chance to paralyze the targets of our power attacks coming from the War Master perk, we can be quite sure we will knock down most enemies before they are slain, making the bloodshed avoidance a little bit more feasible, and also meaning we don't need to worry too much about maximizing damage. Now for the secondary skills we have Alchemy, Enchanting and Block. In Enchanting we need Mastery, so that with Enchanter's Elixir we can craft some items comparable to the generic items of peerless quality, which we may want to do because of, well, fashion choices. In Alchemy we need Mastery and Benefactor for the quality of our beneficial potions. Fortify Illusion and Fortify Restoration potions will have a direct effect on our spell efficiency, and Fortify other skills, all other skills or attributes can be administered to followers with the Field Medic mod. And in Block we have Mastery and Quick Reflexes, which may not be that useful for the finished build, but will help you survive some unexpected confrontations early to mid-game. It is time for the gear section. All of our items can be either bought, found or handcrafted. With your perk spread there should be little to no difference in overall power levels, regardless if the item is found, bought or crafted, so just use whatever yields the best results for a given slot. We have a quarterstaff of paralysis, circlet of Fortify Illusion, hood and ropes of Fortify Restoration, amplify illusion on the necklace and area restore health on the boots, link health and the magicka on the ring, and Fortify magicka on the set of gloves. And yes, the Alchemist Vestments hood can be worn on top of a circlet, which I used shamelessly. As you can see, resistance enchantments have been ignored entirely, because with all the followers protecting us and all the stealth, it's hardly ever needed. Also, you can make decent resistance potions and you will reach 70% magic resistance from the Standing Stone alteration perks and the Agent of Mara, so don't even bother. Link health and magicka enchantment placed on your ring is going to be a major thing. It will enhance 2 of your key attributes at the price of 1 slot. Punch some merchants if they don't want to sell it to you. If they survive the beating, it's still a mostly peaceful playthrough. Here is the overwhelmingly long list of spells. Just pause the video and look at it closely, because I can't be sure if I can describe all of them, especially not with the entire explanation of whys and what fors. I mean, I sometimes have a life. Can't be sitting here talking about spells all day. The Radiate Energies restoration spell from Odin is a must. It allows you to apply self-targeting spells to nearby allies. So after they are buffed with that 500 extra points from all your courage spells, you can, for example, enhance their power attacks with a chance to send enemies flying with the Orc's strength. Make their power attacks reduce enemy armor and magic resistance with Save of Ferocity. Make their power attacks deal almost 100 extra damage in a small burst against the undead. Imagine that with super fast power attacks. Well, you can give them super fast power attacks with the Battle Fury Shout. Then after a fight ensues, you can buff them further with an aura spell from Triumvirate. I find the Aura of Might, the cheapest of the 3, the most useful. It can almost double your allies' damage output, which is already greatly enhanced with spells and attack speed buff from Battle Fury. Even with no extra follower mods, you can have 2 followers here, because the Spirit Guardian doesn't count towards the limit. With the Spirit of War Illusion perk, you get a spirit copy of each, so that's 4 in total. They will all attack faster from the Shout and for more damage from the Aura of Might. They will also be healed by 50-something points per second as long as they stay close to you, and 2 of them can be pre-buffed with all those amazing power attack enhancing spells. You will not need to engage in combat directly, they will massacre Drogue Death Overlords like it's nothing. Such is the power of Mara's love. But if you want to, you can do some very efficient fighting yourself. With high chance of paralyzing and being able to enhance your power attacks, the damage per hit really doesn't matter that much. Store resist elements, Stave of Frosty and Hollowed Strikes in Okato's Recital to buff yourself against the undead. If you need to fight anything else, you may need to replace Hollowed Strikes with another Strikes spell. For combat avoidance, another thing we can do with utmost efficiency is to use the Exile and Exodus spells, or simply Pacify. If everything else fails, just explode with hundreds of sun damage from the Purifying Dawn spell or dual cast Spirit Storm. Yes, so in a nutshell, with this character you get an incredibly powerful, inspiring figure, turning common armsmen into enthused meat grinders, who can also show mercy to her enemies by preventing combat and knocking most of them unconscious. When she feels mercy doesn't apply anymore, she can get rid of hostiles rather quickly and efficiently, both by empowering her friends and by her own means. The build gets a little bit complicated, but seems to be more enjoyable to play than a simple pacifist illusionist or a sneak build. She has more than one answer to most problems, and I've never taken the idea of buffing my friends to such extremes while still being able to fight this well myself. And this concludes the video as well as the Divine Builds series. Or does it? At any rate, this has been a collab project with my friend PC Outcast, and his Mara-themed build is linked in the description. As always, thank you PC for this encouraging experience and also for your patience this time around, because at least half of my part of the job was behind the darn schedule this time around. Like, life is hard. Also, you know, the YouTube things like share, subscribe, give me money, yada yada, coffee, I need coffee, and remember to watch my other builds, of course, and other videos, and have fun, and we will see each other again. Bye bye.